Welcome to this explainer. Have you ever actually stopped and wondered why some people and massive institutions seem to literally generate money out of thin air while the rest of us are stuck trading our hours for dollars? Well, today we are diving into the absolute alchemy of wealth. It is a wildly fascinating journey. We're going to start big, looking at the macro mechanics of the global banking system. And then we're taking those exact same systemic principles and bringing them right down to the micro level, specifically looking at the strategies of what are called digital architects. Trust me, by the end of this, you are going to see the actual mechanics of wealth in a completely new light. Let's get into it.
Okay, so here's our quick roadmap for today. We'll cover the illusion of money, how banks actually create money, the digital architect path, matching your talent to a service, the skill maxing loop, and finally, scaling your value. All right, section 1, the illusion of money. We've got to dismantle the vault myth. So a lot of us grew up believing in this bank vault myth, right? This idea that a bank is basically just a giant, high-security storage unit that takes your exact deposit and locks it away safely. But think about it. If banks actually operated that way, they'd literally never make any money. Because banks are businesses. Their core goal is profit. And idle money? Well, idle money just gathers dust. So the lending machine reality is the actual truth. Banks put your money to work the second you hand it over by providing loans to other people and businesses.
Which brings us right into section 2, how banks create money through the multiplier effect.
Let's walk through the math here, because it's actually pretty mind-blowing. Imagine you walk into your local branch and deposit $1,000. Now, instead of just letting it sit there, the bank keeps a really small fraction of that cash in reserve, as required by law, and then it immediately loans out the rest to a borrower, maybe someone buying a car or starting a small business. Let's say the bank takes your deposit and lends out $900 of it. Now, here is where the absolute magic happens. That borrower now has $900 to spend, right? So they buy something, and the seller takes that $900 and deposits it right into their own bank account. Suddenly, your original $1,000 is still sitting perfectly fine on your ledger, but there's a brand new $900 sitting on someone else's ledger. Your original physical money is now supporting $1,900 of economic activity. And of course, it doesn't stop there. That second bank takes the new $900 deposit, keeps their own small reserve, and lends out, let's say, $810 of it. That money gets spent, deposited again, and loaned out again. This cascade through the entire system is what economists call the money multiplier effect. Your initial $1,000 can eventually support several $1,000s of activity, jumping to $2,710 and way beyond. Literally, new money was created out of thin air just by adding digital numbers to account balances through lending. Wild, right? So the crucial thing to understand is why banks do this. It all comes down to the interest spread. Let's say a bank pays you, 2% interest for keeping your money in a savings account. But then they lend that exact same money out to a borrower and charge them 8%. The difference between what the bank earns and what it pays you, that's 6%, is the interest spread. Now, 6% might sound tiny, but this simple, elegant equation is the core engine that sustains multi-billion-dollar bank profits every single year. Now, obviously, a system this highly leveraged definitely has its vulnerabilities. I mean, what if everyone wants their money at the exact same time? Because the money is actively out on loan, the bank doesn't actually have the physical cash on hand to pay everyone at once. Cue the panic. This is what we call a bank run. And to keep the whole system from collapsing, governments step in with safety nets like deposit insurance just to maintain public confidence. The whole system absolutely relies on trust and reliability to keep functioning. And here is where we make a really fascinating pivot. If global banking institutions rely on systems, leverage, and velocity, rather than just linear physical effort to generate massive returns, how can you as an individual do the exact same thing? How do we take this massive macro engine and apply it to our micro everyday lives? That leads us directly to section 3, the digital architect's path, and engineering your own micro wealth. Let's look at two very distinct paths. First, we have Joey. Joey represents the traditional path we're all kind of told to follow, right? He got straight A's, went to university, and his big reward is a job paying about $5,400 a month. But he's stressed. He's got student debt, a high cost of living, and honestly, he's terrified that AI is going to replace him. Now, contrast Joey with Kai. Kai skipped university completely. He looked at where the world was actually heading and became what's called a digital architect. His reward? He's making over $15,000 a month. He has total freedom, absolutely zero debt, and instead of fearing AI, he literally uses it to make his job easier. Kai is earning 3 times more than people who are infinitely more formally qualified than he is. So, What exactly is Kai doing differently? Well, he's selling a digital service online. But to hit that $10,000 or $15,000 a month mark like he does, your online service absolutely must follow the 3 golden rules of what we call service maxing. It's simple. Your service either has to make a business more money, save a business time, or save a business money. That is it. If you hit just one of those rules, you instantly become an undeniable asset to any clients. Okay, on to section 4, matching talent to service and finding your natural advantage. But how do you actually choose what service to offer? The secret here is ignoring your weaknesses and ruthlessly identifying your natural advantage. You see, everyone falls into one of 4 natural talent categories. So ask yourself, which one are you? Are you the organizer who naturally brings structure to chaos? You'd be absolutely perfect for funnel creation or AI automation. Or maybe you're the analyst, someone who spots patterns and relies on data. You'd excel in AI automation too, or analyzing those funnels. Are you the communicator who is naturally persuasive? You should definitely be in deal-making, connecting businesses with sponsorships for a commission. Or are you the creative who connects the dots that other people miss? You would thrive in brand identity or video editing. You've got to pick a service that naturally aligns with how your brain already works. And hey, if you were sitting there thinking, well, I don't really have any natural talents, stop right there. Did you know that 98% of 5-year-olds actually scored at a genius level for divergent thinking? That's the ability to generate completely original ideas. But by adulthood, that number plummets to just 2%. I mean, we were all geniuses once, right? Before we had to pay taxes. You are talented. It's just that the traditional school system literally trained that divergent thinking right out of you by forcing you to spend hours fixing your weaknesses instead of doubling down on your natural gifts. It is time to reclaim that advantage. Which brings us to section 5, the skill maxing loop, or how to learn while you earn. Once you have your talents and your service perfectly aligned, you can't just sit in the classroom reading about it. No way. You need to fire up your personal wealth engine by learning while earning. We call this the 5-step skill maxing loop, and it's basically the blueprint for rapidly increasing your value. Step 1, define your service simply. Don't overcomplicate it. Just state exactly what you do, like, I edit videos for businesses. Step 2, sell before feeling ready. You just got to get out into the real world, because every single rejection teaches you something valuable. Step 3, deliver to get real feedback. You only get truly good when there is real pressure and actual money on the line. Step 4, fix bottlenecks with AI. When you spot repetitive stuff slowing you down, just automate it. And finally, step 5, systemize for reliability. Let's actually zoom in on that final step for a second, systemizing. Just like governments use deposit insurance to mitigate bank risks, you have to use tools to mitigate the risk of your own human error. Using an all-in-one business software, like Odoo, for example, to handle your invoicing, accounting, and client chatter is a total game changer. It's what turns a scrappy side hustle into a genuinely reliable business. Because look, if deadlines are missed and invoices get lost in your inbox, you are never going to get the repeat work that actually builds real wealth. Systemizing your backend proves to clients that you are reliable, and reliability is exactly what keeps them coming back. Every time you run through this loop, your service gets sharper and you make more money. Finally, section 6, scaling your value through the power of positioning. The absolute final piece of this puzzle is how you communicate your worth, so you can break past that initial plateau and start scaling up to 10 grand a month and beyond. Get this, you can do the exact same work as someone else, but if you change how you pitch it, you can earn 10 times more. It's all about positioning. The mindset of the freelancer is to sell features. They'll say something like, I build landing pages. But honestly, that just sounds like a commodity. It sounds like a cost. But the digital architect, they sell outcomes. They say, I turn your existing traffic into paying customers. By tying the exact same service directly to revenue, they transform themselves from an expense into an investment. And that, right there, is how you position your value to win. So, as we wrap up this explainer, we've gone all the way from the massive macro scale of fractional reserve banking down to the specific tactical steps of becoming a digital architect. And the crazy thing is, both of them rely on systems, positioning, and multiplying value rather than just hoarding resources. So I want to leave you with this final provocative thought. Are you going to let your potential and your talents just sit idle, like cash locked away in a dusty bank vault? Or are you ready to use these systems, embrace your natural advantage, and engineer a wealth machine of your very own? The choice is entirely up to you. Keep learning, keep building, and I will see you in the next explainer.